So in this video today, we will be looking at how we turn these bits of gimbal into a gimbal and get it set up. So let's do that. Roll titles! So we've got the DJI Ronin SC out of the box. We did that in the last video. I'll stick a link to it up there or something. But yeah, we've got to build it and get it set up to use the camera and connect to the phone app. So we'll do that all now. So get all the bits lined up. What you need to do is there's some screws in the case that you need to put through here. So get that done first. I've already done it. Now this is the camera riser. You might not need this. I don't know if I'm going to need it with my camera, but it's here just in case. So let's get started. So first off, we need the tripod stand, and we'll just put the battery grip into it. Now this tripod stand is super handy just for getting it balanced. And then we take the gimbal itself and slide it in, and then once it's in position you just press this lever to lock it. Now at the moment the gimbal has got all the axes locked off, which is one of the great things I love about this gimbal. You can lock all the axes so it can be made compact for transport, which is very, very handy. So what you have to do is make sure you put everything into the unlocked position. There we go. And then you've got to in rough position. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then lock the axes back up, but I will leave this top one here for reasons which you'll see. Okay, so that's that done. It's all built, but it is not balanced. But before we start the balancing process, best to download the DJI Ronin app from your app store. So what I'll do is I've got that installed already on my phone, but I will share my screen so you can see it, and we will go through that step by step. So we'll go into the app. Of course, with all these kind of apps, you have to accept the terms and conditions. Yeah, that looks about right. Yes, I acknowledge the terms and conditions. Yep. Okay. Yeah, let's go to the improvement project. That's fine. And then we need to allow it access. And there we go, we need to connect to gimbal. So it needs Bluetooth permission, so we'll give it Bluetooth permissions. And then we need to turn the gimbal on, and the power button for it is right here. So let's turn on the gimbal. And there we go, it's found the gimbal straight away. So we'll just click on it. Oh, enter the password, okay. The default password, oh hello. The default password is 12345678. I'd recommend changing that. There we go, and it's connected. Excellent. So that's that bit done. So we'll come back to this app in a moment. But for now we need to get this balanced. And you need to balance the camera across all the different axes. So we need to get the camera balanced this way first of all. So let's do that. Now first off we need to get the camera connected to the quick release plate. Now you'll notice, I'll show, the quick release plate goes from light to heavy, and you put the screw roughly where it should be depending on the camera. I would say this is a lighter camera, so I'm going to put it on this lighter end of the scale. And also it's got a handy label to tell you which way the lens should be facing, so that's good. So you'll probably need a screwdriver. Well, you will need a screwdriver to make sure it's nice and tight. Now if you've got a bigger camera, you might need the lens support, which is in the case. I don't think I will for this one because it's only a relatively small lens. Right, so we need to get it balanced here. It's all of the gear has got these handy markings on them that shows you sort of on a scale whereabouts they are. So when you come to rebalance this, if you remember the numbers, then it will balance perfectly every time. Right, so we need to press this down and then slide in the quick release plate. Now also, when you're balancing things, you have to make sure that the camera is the weight it's going to be when you're using it. So if you've got a Rode Wireless Go mic pack that's going to go on the top of it, balance it with that. If you're going to have the screen flipped round, then balance it with the screen flipped round. You've got to get the balancing right from the get-go, really, just to make life easier. Now, as you can see, we need to get the camera to sit steady. So that's obviously tipping too far forward. This is obviously tipping too far back. So it's all about getting literally the right balance. So that looks pretty well balanced actually. So we tighten this up. That looks pretty well balanced. And then you can use this little guy here at the front to almost lock it in position. Well, it just gives you a guide. So if you want to whip the camera off, you can then slide it back on straight away because this guide will stop. And there we go, that looks quite balanced. Let me just spin it around so you can see. Yep, that's pretty balanced. Hang on. Interesting. Ah. Am I being a donut? Right, this needs to move. What an idiot. There we go, this needs to move. There we go, look. That's our boy. Yep. So there we go, we have got 2 axes balanced. Excellent stuff. So that is, yeah, that's unlocked. This way is unlocked. Good, we are getting there slowly but surely. Right, now we need to unlock this one and give it a tilt. Okay, tilt it that way. So this bottom one is actually spot on as it is. So that's good. Cool, right, so in theory now, we can switch it on. Alright. And then we can go back into the app and we can do a balance test. So let's do that. Right, so we just need to connect to our gimbal. Other side a bit now. There we go, there's our gimbal. So let's just tilt it like that. And it tells you the incline. It needs to be at least 15 degrees. So we'll begin the test. There we go. So it's just giving the camera a little spin round. And hopefully we've got the balance about right. Look at that. There we go. We were excellent on all axes. So that is awesome. So that's cool. And then what we can do is we can set the auto tune, and basically it just tweaks everything according to the camera and all the motors and balancing. So if we click on auto tune, there you go. So we just click OK, and it does jiggle the camera a bit. So make sure it's on a stable surface. Gives the camera the shakes. Excellent. So the calibration has been successful. There we go. We are gimbaling. Okay, so let's just have a look at some of the other things in the app. Now you can put the mobile phone holder on top of your camera. I haven't done that, but again, that will alter the balance. So if you're going to be using your camera on top, if you're going to be using your phone on top of your camera, then balance it with the extra phone stand accessory on, because otherwise, once you put that on, that'll throw your balance out. So let's go into create. So let's go into motor. So let's go into user profile. And now you can choose what each of the modes does, because at the back of it, you can see you've got lights for different modes. You've got 1, 2 and 3, and pressing the M button switches between those modes. So if we look in the app at the moment, mine is set up so M1 is pan and tilt follow, and there's also a little graphic that explains to you what that is. M2 is set at MPV, so it will follow your movements along pan, tilt and roll axes. And M3, that is the 3D roll function. So to demonstrate the 3D roll function, I'll show you. So there we go. And then we can roll the camera by pressing the joystick to make some really gorgeous sort of Inception style shots. Isn't that cool? And then we can just press the M1 to just take the gimbal back. There we go. So you control the gimbal with the joystick on the back. Isn't that smart? And also you can, I haven't done it with this one, but you can plug in your camera into the back of the gimbal. Let me just spin the gimbal around and show you. So you can connect your camera to this USB-C connector using one of the supply cables to the port on your camera, and you can use this to start the video recording, etc. So yeah, I mean, there's so many settings in the app. It's just kind of a bit wild. So you can go into the create mode, and if you want to create a time lapse, you can position where you want the camera. You can tell the camera where to start by putting it in the position, and then add a waypoint, and then move the camera to where you want it to finish, and add another waypoint. So you could create some really stunning time lapse shots and have them fit angled up exactly how you want them. It's quite insane really. And also this is an interesting feature called Force Mobile. Let's turn it on. Can you see? As I turn the phone, the camera moves. So in theory you could set up a you could put this camera up nice and high and just control it, the movements, by your phone. It does take a little bit of practice to get it right, but yeah, isn't that cool? So yeah, that's pretty smart. And also there's other things like Active Track Pro, where if you've got the camera mounted onto the top, you can then pick a target for it to lock onto, and the gimbal will stay locked onto it. So if you're recording like yourself, and you've got the gimbal set up and you want to walk around the shot, that will follow you around. It's really smart. But yeah, I think with regard to that, it's probably best for me to show you in a separate video. So yeah, this is the DJI Ronin SC all set up for this camera. So as I say, you can plug in your camera with the cable. It does support a lot of cameras. And I guess the next thing to do is take it out and go for a little play. So I think I'll do that in the next video. I'll probably set it up with my Sony camera, which is recording this at the moment, and we'll take it out and about, and we'll just do some shots and have a play and see how it all works out. So if you're interested in watching that, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell, and you'll get a notification as soon as that or any other videos go live. Yeah, I'll probably do that next week or so. But yeah, so that's not too, it wasn't too difficult to set up. Once you've got the balance nailed, it's pretty straightforward. And as I say, you've got these markers on it to show you where it's lined up to. So even if you unscrew everything, you can just have a note of those numbers and just put it all in the right position. Then you're all balanced up, ready for next time. So that's about it. Before I go, I have to give a massive shout out to Becky. She is subscribed at the tier where she gets a shout out on my videos. So thank you so much for that, Becky. If you want to join this channel, then you can join from just 99p. And that will give you access to cheaper merchandise. The more you subscribe, the better the perks are, and you know, you could get a shout out in one of these videos in the future. Don't forget, you can buy some merch as well. Just go to merch.kiphakes.tv, and if you want to follow me on the socials, then they're below, and so is the link to my Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, then please feel free. I think that's all that's left for me to say, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back soon for some more vlogging and indeed gimbaling fun. See ya!